Sanoe Keli'inoi. I'm a field technician for Clark County's natural areas. I work with Blaine Kistler. He's the inspector for our program. We're basically in charge of all the natural areas in Clark County. It's about 3,000 acres, which includes all of the shoreline, nearly all of the shoreline of Vancouver Lake. A lot of properties out on the lower East Fork Lewis River, some in Washougal, Clackamas, Whipple Creek, kind of all over the place. We also help with the noxious weed control at Camp Bonneville, which is about 4,000 acres. They have a Class A weed false broom that is pretty much quarantined to the property because it previously belonged to the Army for about 90 years, where they were doing training with weapons and artillery out there. So it is currently in the last stages of its cleanup and clearing the ordinances out there. And so they have cleared the valley floor, which is where a majority of that false broom is, that has possibly been transported from Oregon during one of the logging operations. And we discovered that. Blaine discovered that in 2014, and we've been working on it ever since, trying to get a handle on it since it will eventually be a Clark County park. So we have that guy going on. Jeffy just threw out a couple of our tools here that we have. He custom built this little man barrow here. We get 2 people on the end of it. It really helps with our planting projects for those mitigated wetlands. We also work, Clark County has a new reforestation program that they're doing to put in more native plants and coverage in these natural areas as well. We got our augers, we got our plant bags, we got our bits, some of the tools that we use to put in willow stakes, and all that jazz. This guy right here, the gator, this belongs to parks, but our program also has a gator. It has 2 45-gallon tanks on it. We use it a lot for site prep for these reforestation projects. One person can get out almost 180 gallons on reed canary grass and 270 gallons on reed canary grass and about 180 on blackberry. So just one person alone. We have with a boom setup as well as a gun setup for shooting these invasive species. We've actually done a few projects out on the Lewis River where we've worked in these reed canary grass monocultures adjacent to native wetland systems. We waited until the late in the season, late in the fall, to kind of go out there and spray and control some of that reed canary grass. And since the East Fork tends to have higher flows, the grass out there gets kind of drowned out, and we have found that a lot of these emergent wetland species work their way back into these cleared areas. We did a site near the Center Bottoms where we did it underneath an ash canopy. We did some spray there, and we counted about 6,000 ash seedlings coming back after just 1 day of spraying, which was really cool. And then we have one a little downstream from that where we saw a lot of wapato, a lot of beggar stick coming back into those areas that we sprayed. So it was just kind of a cool thing that we are going out and controlling these invasive species, even though they're not listed, but we're encouraging native propagation in those areas. In addition, we kind of also use our gator as a filling station for the crews that we use. We work mostly with the WCC, Washington Conservation Group team, to control false broom and do some garlic mustards at our sites. But yeah, that's natural areas.
I think I'm next, right in the midst of all of you. My helper, I've got a couple helpers. She's handed out some papers.